All right, I got this set up. We're supposed to go into, who knows, minus 10, minus 20. It's supposed to be super cold in 24 hours. Canada's already getting hit with it. Now, this tent is double walled, and that's very important. A lot of tents, and it only weighs 2 pounds. You can get tents lighter. You can get tents that are 1 pound, and they're made out of cumin fiber, and they're really expensive. They're like 600 or 700. A lot of people use them for the Appalachian Trail, but they're single walled. And what happens, the condensation on the inside runs down the wall until it finally hits the ground. They're not very comfortable if you get a cold night up in the Rocky Mountains and the condensation builds up. All your gear gets soaking wet. Where with double wall tent, which means the fly goes over top of the screen, making it a double wall tent. So you got like 2 layers, right? You've also got these particular items here, okay? You see that? There's screen up there. That allows the condensation to escape. So it's not being all kept inside the tent where you end up soaking wet. So if you've got a single wall tent, I don't care what you spent for it, that's what's going to get you. We've also got another one over here. So we got 2 vents, and then we've got 2 vestibules. And basically it's just more room that sticks out in front of where the screens are. And we're going to be rocking the Exped. That is an R8 pad, and I got a foam pad underneath it. I think it's an R7 pad. So that's what we're going to be rocking. That little bed is what I'm going to be sleeping on. I prefer my Nemo because it's wider, but that Exped, it's got a lot more insulation in it. That one's good for minus 40, so that'll more than handle the job I need it to do. They got a new one out called the Exped 8, and Exped seems to make the best pads for going deep with the temperatures. And I think it runs 250. I even seen it on sale for 200 if you look around. But that pad, now can you use that pad in the summer? Sure you can. It might be a little warm. You might have to toss a sheet on it, but you can use it if you want to just have some comfort instead of buying 2 pads. So what all is going to be in there? Well, I'm going to be running double comforts. I'm going to run a 32 Fahrenheit comforter, and I'm going to be running a summer quilt. 2 quilts is what I'm going to be running. That's going to be a lot of down between me and the elements. I have a pillow, 3 layers of clothing, long johns, light pants, and a heavier pant is what I'm going to be running. A pair of nice gloves I found, and a couple of hats. And that should keep me warm for a very long time, is what that should do. So I'll be ready to go. Now, at the same time, we're supposed to rain all day. We're supposed to start raining tomorrow around 1 or 2 o'clock. And then as it gets colder, we're going to go straight from 50 Fahrenheit, 60 Fahrenheit, right down to 2 in a matter of 5 or 6 hours. It's going to be a super drop. So not only am I dealing with the cold, I'm also going to be dealing with the rain, and it's going to be soaking wet and cold. And that's where this tent excels. I've had this tent in downpours many times. It excels like you don't know. And that's why I tell people, get out and test your gear. I don't care what you buy. I mean, I don't care what the reviews are. The only review that matters is how it performs for you. I even have a Marmot tent that I bought, and I only use it twice because it weighs 5 pounds. And it's a 3-man tent. But that thing is super easy to set up and uses poles, and that's why it weighs so much. Now, when you get into light tents, like for example, this one here was around 300. You can get lighter. Dan Durston's got one made out of Cuban fiber too, and pretty much the same design, just out of Cuban fiber. So now you're like a pound and a little bit for the weight of that tent. But like I said, I prefer this. I wish it would have been camo, but you know, I like camo. A lot of guys like camo. So when it gets cold, I'll bring my quilts up, and this is what I'm going to sleep in. This will be home while it's pouring rain, when it gets down into low temperatures. And this is what you preppers should be practicing, those that are healthy enough. Those that want to brag, but actually just want to sit behind their desk and sit back and pray like, oh yes, everything's fine. We're the amazing preppers. I'm afraid that's not how it is. And that pad there, like I said, goes down to minus 40. So if you're in an area that goes down to minus 40, then you can run that pad and you're fine. And throw a couple foam pads under it if you want a little extra installation, but that's where you'll be. So we'll get some more video as the weather turns, and it's only going to be super cold for 4 days. People are buying water, they're buying all kinds of stuff here. My pipes will freeze. That's all there is to it. My pipes are going to freeze. But I've done my whole house in PEX piping and used to it. So my pipes will freeze for like 3 days. Then we're going to go back up into the 50s. The pipes will unfreeze, and because it's PEX, it does not break, it just expands. And we do run the water, but you might get a day, and then the pipes will freeze. And that's it. Nothing you can do about it. What else do I got? 300 gallons of water put aside. Water to dump in the back of the toilet and flush it. These are the things you have to be prepared for when you're watching that weather and when it's getting cold. And you'd be surprised how much water you use. You start flushing the toilet, whether you got 2 people, 3 people, your pipes freeze, then you're going to be in big trouble. But understand something, when your pipes freeze, do not try to unfreeze them. You know, don't go completely crazy and try to unfreeze your pipes if you only got 2 or 3 days to go and things warm up, and then your pipes will unfreeze themselves. And then make sure you got the tools to shut off the water at the road. So if you go outside and you see water coming out from underneath your house, immediately go to the street and shut your water off. There's a little switch there. Because if that thing keeps running, the city's going to charge you for all the water you're escaping. You see the break, oh well, go out, shut it off with a pair of vice grips, and then you wait for a warm day when you're going to fix that pipe and get it going. Now if you can, really think about PEX piping. I think most new houses do that now, but older houses are probably running the old plastic piping. PEX pipe is a godsend. So hopefully your pipes don't break, and hopefully this setup that I'm putting together, it works. Now the total weight of this is going to be 2 pounds for a tent. Because that's a minus 40 pad, it's 2 pounds on the pad, so I'm at 4 pounds already. 2 quilts are a pound each, 5, 6. I'm running about probably 6 pounds and a little bit for a complete shelter setup to hit these temperatures, which is super light, is what I'm running. You know, when you start getting down to temps like that, you have to decide. So the only thing that changed is changing out the pad. I always had the Nemo pad, so I'm changing out the pad. The weight went up a pound, and then I'm running 2 quilts. Now because I have a pack liner, I can just shove the quilts inside the bag, and they'll fill in the spaces to make up extra room. So that's gonna be an amazing setup, and hopefully it works like I'm planning, and I should be very, very warm and sleep really good, unless the cats all start bothering me. Let's see how it does. Okay, it's about 45 degrees. We're gonna grab a little video. It was pouring rain today for about 4 hours. Tent got soaking wet, but seems to be dry now. Looks good. In the next 4 hours, it starts to drop. Degree by degree by degree. By 11 o'clock, we'll be down to, I don't know, 32 Fahrenheit, 0 Celsius. And after 11 o'clock, that's when it really starts to go down. Every hour, 3, 4, 5 degrees, right down to 3 Fahrenheit. So it's crazy how cold it's going to get tonight. And this will be my home. I'm going to test this with the tent, 2 quilts, and a minus 40 degree pad. And if it endures it, and I'm warm, and everything's good, then that means no matter what happens in Tennessee, I can deal with it. Okay. Oh, this is crazy. She's down to 30 Fahrenheit, 0 Celsius, but it's more than that. The wind. I can't believe my tent's still standing. The wind's 45 miles an hour. It's ridiculous. Every now and then, I feel like my tent is going to be lifted up and gone. It's unbelievable. It was snowing for a little while. Oh, hang on there. Almost looks like the stick's going to come out. I might have to go out there. It's literally pushing down on my body. This is one heck of a test for doing this. I'm not cold. Whoops. I'm not cold. I've got the minus 40 Fahrenheit, which would be minus 40 Celsius pad underneath me. Oh. I think I need more steaks. Calm down a little bit. It's really cold. Really cold. I'm not cold. When I bought this pad, I bought it years ago. So it's quite narrow. It's not as wide as my Nemo. And they make them wider now. But I don't feel any cold coming through the pad whatsoever. Holding the camera is making my fingers cold. But I seem to be surviving. If the wind would just go away. I'm sure it's just the front passing through, but it's really beating the shit out of my tent. That's the thing. See, now it's pushing down on my tent. Ah! Pushing down hard. Everything is pressed. Now it's pulling out. Oh, that's weird. And then it's calming down a little bit. This wind is crazy. You hear it? Oh my God. I don't even know if you can see out there. I have no idea. I only have one light in here. It's not like I'm working with a lot of room. That's for sure. Oh. I hope this don't rip the tent down. I'll tell you, if I make it through the night and the tent's still standing, this has been the craziest test I've ever done with this equipment. it'll definitely tell me. Oh, it's pushing. I feel like the tent is hugging me. Really pushing down on me. It doesn't usually get windy in Tennessee. This is new. You can see it back here, kind of pushing down on me. Well, you can hear it out there. The trees must be bending in half. One thing's for sure, you definitely wouldn't want to have this tent set up with trees above you in this. You would have ended up dead. Easy. Paying attention to your weather is extremely important. This is a perfect example of it. But I'm not cold. The quilts are keeping me quite warm. The pad is keeping me quite warm. I even have a little bit of a different pillow this time. I just wish this wind would pass. I would imagine after the wind passes, that's when the really cold air starts coming in. And you know, I was wondering, the temperature was dropping, you know, like crazy. It was dropping when I checked the weather. It was like every hour it would drop 2 to 3 degrees. And I was wondering, how the heck is it going to drop that fast, that quick? Well, I think I just got the answer to my question, didn't I? 45-mile-an-hour winds. I mean, the wind's pushing it in, it's pushing it through, so yeah. Hey, this is pushing down on me. I can't believe this tent's still standing. I really can't, guys. Oh, it's pushing down again. Getting around it, ready for another round. Oh. All right, if this gets... Oh, stop. If this gets ripped out of the ground, we may have to abort. If it does, I'll come back to you and let you know. Boy, this is one hell of a test. I'll be back. Okay. I got a pair of gloves on now. Lost the pole. Pole went down. I had to undo the other side of the tent. Extend the pole, tighten it up. I did all that from the inside. So that was okay. Whew. The wind's still a little bit. Not as bad. I'd say we went down to 30 miles an hour maybe. Oh, I don't know, maybe 35. That was a pain. Oh, starting to see steam out of my mouth now. Temperature's starting to drop. We're getting colder. It's only been, I don't know, 20 minutes from the last time I talked to you. So, that's crazy. Oh, I can't even see if I'm focused in here or not. Boy, oh boy. Crazy. But, yeah, I think that wind's dying down a bit, but it is getting colder. The back of my quilt was open. I could feel it on my lower back. Ooh. Felt like, I don't know, like needles going into you. So it's definitely starting to get colder. They say that if you have exposed skin for more than 30 minutes, you will get frostbite. So I'm really going to have to keep an eye on that and make sure everything's covered up. But I'm very warm. I got some nice warm gloves on now, and my fingers aren't cold. I wish the mat was a little wider, but it'll have to do. Very warm on the mat. So, and the two quilt idea with two down quilts on me. So far it's turned out to be a good idea. It's extremely warm. So being I'm not freezing, and I've tested this out for, I don't know, a good half an hour, and I don't feel any cold spots. Don't you hear that? That's eerie, isn't it? The whole wind just stopped. We went from 35 to 0, or maybe 2. Oh man. 1 minute you're, next minute nothing. Wow. I hear rain. Maybe that's why. It's starting to sprinkle. Alright, I'm going to take a little bit of a nap, get situated a little bit more, and I'll be back, guys. Okay, I got turned around. This is better. Now, I'm not sure if you can hear it, but it's definitely snowing now. Here, coming down pretty good. They said we're supposed to get a half an inch. So obviously the temperature is now dropped enough for the snow to stop and the rain. And the rain has ended. And the wind is pretty much gone now. Oh, that was kind of scary. When I took my pole down, I thought for sure the whole tent was going to go. I must have put those stakes in good. It was really yanking on this tent. Well, we got both poles back in. Looks like everything's calming down. And I'm warm. So that's all that matters. Wow, that was a hell of a test. Alright, I'll be back in a bit, guys.